Is this the end of the US dollar as we know it? Have we now entered a period of de-dollarization? Major economies have been coordinating a path towards removing their reliance away from the US dollar. What impact will this have on Bitcoin? Let's take a look here at the price action. We've got 1% up here for Bitcoin on the day, but what we need to be looking at is this huge narrative which is shifting away from the US dollar. You guys know we covered off the Balaji's bet that within 90 days he thought we would see hyperinflation of the US dollar, allowing for a $1 million Bitcoin. Now, whilst I did think that is crazy numbers, I did say that the path and the direction of travel is accurate. I do think we'll continue to see inflationary issues in the US. I do think we'll continue to see people economies trying to create less and less dependence on the US dollar, because this is an economy which just continues to try to print their way out of trouble. So if you're a country relying on the US dollar, you are in absolute mess right now. So first thing we can see here, Asian considers dropping US dollar, euro, yen, pound for settlement. So these are major economies, guys. These are Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, huge countries here now saying that they want to remove and drop the US dollar, the euro, the yen and British and start using their own currencies. And it's not just that. Let's keep things moving. We've also got that China and Brazil to settle trades in their own currencies. Similar thing we're seeing here, right? So they've worked together. Is the US dollar losing its privileged status as the world's reserve currency? Let's keep things going, guys. Saudi Arabia enters trade alliance with China, huge. Russia, huge country. India, huge country. Pakistan, 200 million people there as well. Saudi Arabia has entered a trade alliance with China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and 4 Central Asian nations. Moreover, the development arrives after this, which was China's first LNG trade using the yuan. Okay, so they did this trade with France, and it was not using the US dollar, and it's the first time that the Chinese yuan has been used to settle an LNG trade. This is huge, guys, and what you're seeing here is a coordinated theme away from the US dollar. Just as a reminder, this was the clip we had from Putin.
О том, что вы предлагаете торговать в юанях не только между Россией и Китаем, но и с третьими странами, с другими странами. В США, конечно, сразу посчитали это посягательством на мировую резервную валюту, на доллар. Посягаете?
Ну, нет. Это не соответствует действительности. Мы бы пользовались долларом. Они же нам не дают. А как нам расчеты осуществлять? В той валюте, которая приемлема для наших торговых партнеров. Юань – одна из таких валют. Тем более, что она используется и МВФ. Значит, это они сами пилят сук, на котором сидят. Я уже об этом много раз говорил. Ограничивая использование доллара, исходя из сиюминутных конъюнктурных соображений политического характера, они сами себе наносят ущерб. Можно сказать, что в ногу стреляют. Это не мы, это они так делают. И, конечно, вот сам факт того, что, допустим, они заморозили наши золотовалютные резервы. Все страны мира, уверяю вас, во всяком случае те, которые имеют ЗВР, да, они все задумались, насколько надежным является американский партнер. И все сделали вывод, ненадежным является. Поэтому с удовольствием, с нами с удовольствием договариваются наши партнеры рассчитываться в юанях. Вы знаете, что нефтедобывающие страны Ближнего Востока заявили, что они тоже хотят расчеты в юанях вести. Но мы так постепенно будем расширять это. Будем расширять те валюты, которые являются надежными.
And it's clear that these economies have had enough. They don't want to sit here relying on this US dollar, which we've known for a very long time is displaying signs of sticky inflation, which is displaying signs of mismanagement, where they're just constantly printing their way out of trouble ever since the 2008 financial crisis. And now we're starting to see economies are now in a position. They're in a position, this is what's important, where they can actually act. Because before this, countries were not in a position to act. I want to show you this graph here. And what you'll see is the top line is the G7 countries. This is your traditional old guard: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK and US. Now, the other line coming from the bottom upwards here are your BRIC countries. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And what you'll notice here is now, just recently here, the two lines have crossed. And what you're looking at is the percentage of global GDP being contributed by these respective countries. So finally, you can see now that the BRICS countries now contribute 31.5% of global GDP and the G7 at 30.7%. So they finally crossed over, and you can see the trajectory here. If you look at the forecast, BRICS will continue to take more of that global GDP share, putting them in a position where they can start to create their own reserve currencies. And could this now spell the end of the US dollar's long reign as the global reserve currency? Now remember, every single fiat currency that has ever existed has collapsed, right? Every fiat currency that has been the reserve currency has had a limited shelf life before it's replaced with another one. If you watch Ray Dalio's video, I'm going to put that somewhere in the description or something so you guys can watch it. Really important video. A lot of you would have watched it already, but it's worth getting yourself clued up on that because reserve currencies do not last forever. And the question is, when will Bitcoin become the reserve currency? Because once Bitcoin becomes that reserve currency, we know that Bitcoin can be an infinite reserve currency. You don't need to replace it because it's not poorly managed. It's not suddenly changing, by central banks. There's not sudden printing. There's no hyperinflation. There's a fixed supply. It's immutable. It's decentralized. It's the money for all time, and it can be forever reserve currency. A few other things I want to share with you before we jump into the charts. And the first thing I need to share with you is this. Bitcoin is flowing into exchanges. Now, this is on a slightly longer term period. So I want you to put your hat on where you're thinking more in like weekly timeframes versus every hour. Because what I'm going to share with you here is that we are seeing some profit taking. Okay, when you see net inflows, which is now you're seeing 4,180 inflows on these latest candles coming into exchanges just here. Okay, this is high spike, and we've not seen these spikes for quite a while here on Bitcoin. And what this represents is that people are looking to take profits. With the recent price action up towards just shy of 29,000, people are looking to take profits, and we need to be able to understand that because that could lead to a pullback. And I've been talking about this pullback. So far, Bitcoin showed great strength and has not shown much signs for a pullback. But when you do have this profit taking coming on, we need to look at, is there a chance for pullback? And we'll look at that when we get onto the charts as well. Now, when you delve into that, because it's not, you can't just say, oh, look, we're seeing people selling. Who is selling? What you understand is that 92.5%, a vast majority of the inflows coming into exchanges right now, so in other words, 92.5% of the people looking to take profits right now are short-term holders. These are not your long-term diamond hand holders. These are generally traders or swing traders or people who want to be in and out of the market. And currently, 65% of those people are sitting in profit. So it's natural that they're going to want to put their Bitcoin back on exchanges to take some profits and look for their next trade. The long-term holders make up, the remaining 7.5%. So it's a tiny proportion of the flows coming into exchanges. So long-term holders continue to do what they do best, long-term holding and DCAing. It's the short-term holders which naturally, if you've had a move up from 15,500 up towards areas at 28, 29,000, you're going to be looking to take some profits. Now, the other thing worth looking at here is the realized profit and loss. And what we're currently seeing is some crazy figures now. $320 million a day are now being taken in profits, realized as profits. Now, if you compare that to some of the crashes we had where we're getting crazy realized losses for FTX, Three Arrows Capital, Terra Luna, it's good to see that people are now starting to take profits. This is what builds the crypto space, gives people confidence, allows projects to build, allows people to make profits and believe in crypto. And again, we've not seen levels like this of profit taking since May 2022. So it's been a very long time since people have been making some serious money in crypto. But what we do want to look at is it's nothing compared to bull markets. Look at these crazy Burj Khalifa candles here. These are the kind of things we will want to be working towards in the next bull run. So this is just a little taster for you guys who haven't experienced a bull run just yet. Jumping into the charts, you can see here I've got the green line drawn at 29,000 US dollars. I was shouting yesterday that we've got to reclaim this level because that will give us that higher high. Unfortunately, you can see we've got rejected exactly from that level a couple of hours ago. I'm sitting here on the 4-hourly candles, and now we need to make sure we can push through it. If we don't, guys, I am looking for a retracement to the downside. Now, when we start heading to the downside, if we do get rejected from this level, we do want to start our journey to the downside. It's imperative that we create a higher low then, so we can go back and try again at 29. If we don't, then of course you're looking at 26,000 and maybe even then dropping down towards 25,000 there just above my head. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. If you've made it this far into the video and you someday want to be able to read the markets, do technical analysis, trade as we are doing on this channel, then perhaps you may want to check out my free technical analysis from scratch course over on Skillshare. For those who aren't familiar, Skillshare is an online education platform. You sign up for a nominal amount each month and you get access to a wide variety of different courses. I personally use it to learn all sorts of things, from video editing to financial to using Excel and various other bits and pieces that you may want to learn. It's far better than YouTube on those elements, because on YouTube everything is about retention, whereas with a course you can put things in a structured curriculum, and that is exactly what I've done with my TA course. It's completely free for the first 30 days if you click the link in the description, ijaz.uk/TA, to take advantage of the TA course. Let me know what you think about it, and let's get back into this video. On the Bitcoin price, I do want to see us, if we do need to pull back, just quickly turn around, like just quickly get some support, maybe from somewhere like here, the apex of the triangle, or even if it needs to come just down here to 27,000 and then go break 29, create that higher high, retest, and keep working your way upwards. That's what we need here for Bitcoin. We don't want it stagnating here, because if you look here on the 4-hourly chart, what happens if you stagnate here? You end up creating a double top pattern. Okay, so you don't want to be creating a double top pattern at that 29,000 where you go hit it once, you come down, you go hit it twice, you come down, and now you've got an M pattern, which is a bearish pattern, signaling a pullback. And unfortunately, the on-chain metrics I'm sharing with you are showing us that people are taking profit. So that's what's causing the difficulty here in us breaking 29,000. One, it's a very important resistance level, but also with so many people taking profits as we get closer to 29, and it will continue to happen as we get closer to 30, these levels are going to be difficult to break. But I think once we break 30, I think things will start to become a little bit easier. Looking at this ascending broadening wedge, this continues to play out exactly as we expected, holding support at the top of the wedge, which is fantastic. But again, if you don't go create your higher high, we're not going to be able to work our way up towards our price target of 33. That is why I need that 29,000 breakthrough, so that we can continue our upward trend towards our price target of 33 on this ascending broadening wedge. If you take a look at the channel which we're forming, exact same thing, right? We had this long channel which we were in here on the 4-hourly chart. We retested it after a breakout on the top side, and again, just go break this previous high and you are off and running. Things will really start to move and Bitcoin can stretch its legs for another leg up. Let's also take a look at our bull flag here, and exactly as we called yesterday, we bounced from the bottom of the channel, we worked our way to the top of the channel, and now we're getting a rejection. So just like I said here, it's perfectly fine if it does want to come down, just build some support. Even if it wants to bounce from here, that's fine. And then we want to start seeing us work our way out here for a textbook breakout to the upside. Remember, if you do bounce from the bottom of the channel, that's still a higher low versus this low here, right? So that's not an issue. As long as we rotate before this low, we're not in trouble. Where we're in trouble is if we do something like this. That's not going to be great, breaking to the downside. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here on the Bitcoin 4-hourly charts. We are so far seeing another red day here on the dollar index, which is good, keeping this move into the downside. A nice long extended move to the downside now. Ever since we called that in September of 2022, we've had a nice move here. Dollar index really falling quite substantially. If we take a look at the move we've had today, that is a nice 10% retracement here on the dollar index, and we need this to continue. Remember, on the weekly chart, for those who haven't seen it, dollar index is inversely correlated to crypto. Every time when we went on this leg here in 2016, Bitcoin did its thing. When we went on this leg here after the pandemic, Bitcoin did its thing. Same thing. As we start to move here, we've already seen Bitcoin go from 15,000 to that 28, 29,000. We need that to continue here, coming to this downside here on the weekly chart on the dollar index. That could give Bitcoin its next bull market. Last but not least, we will get our GDP figure for Q4 2022. So remember, it's a little bit lagging, but sometimes the markets can respond to it if there's a big change. The first estimate came in at 2.9. They revised that for their second estimate at 2.7. Today we get the third estimate. So again, we want to see if there's a major contraction into lower figures, then the markets be worried. As long as it's there or thereabouts around 2.7, market shouldn't respond too much to that, but we will be looking out for that as well. But the major news of the times right now, which we need to be focused on, is this move away from the dollar. If this continues, if this coordinated move by these major economies like Saudi, like Russia, like China, like India, continue to work together to de-dollarize, this could become a trend which can not only be a powerful catalyst for Bitcoin, but could lead to the end. I know this is sounding crazy, but could lead to the end of the US dollar as we know it. I know a lot of people are trying to downplay this, but never have these other economies been in a position where they're so strong that they could actually pose a threat to the US dollar. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.